Hare Krishna, Prabhus and Vaishnavis. Today, we're going to discuss the second verse of the Shikshastaka given by Gauranga Mahaprabhu himself. So now, firstly, I'd like to explain to you that to understand these verses, we have to understand from the commentaries of our Guru Parampara. There is no other way that we can understand these confidential verses. So we have to understand from our Guru Parampara, and the principal commentators for these verses are Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur and Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. They have commented on these verses. And we know that Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he is regarded as the seventh Goswami. So, before I start explaining the second and third verse, I would like to share the commentary of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, the title that he gave each of the 8 verses. The first verse in the Shikshastaka, he called it the best form of sadhana. The second verse, he entitled it, "Why is the holy name so accessible?" And the third verse, he called it, "What is the process of chanting the holy name?" This is one of the most important verses in the Shikshastaka, telling us what is the process, what is the mood, and how we should chant the holy name. The fourth verse, he described as what is the desire of the sadhak. What is the desire of the sadhak? So he's teaching us like this, step by step. And the fifth verse, he explained what is the intrinsic form of the sadhak. That basically means, who are you in relation to the Supreme Lord? And the next verse, he entitled, what are the external symptoms of perfection? And the seventh verse, he entitled, what are the internal symptoms of perfection? And the final verse, he entitled it, steadiness in perfection. So this is very important that we understand this. So now I'm going to read from Srila Prabhupada's translation all the verses starting from verse number 1. Verse number 1. Cheto Darpana Majanam Bhava Mahadavagni Nirvapanam Shreha Kairava Chandrika Vitaranam Vidya Vadu Jivanam Anandam Budi Vardhanam Prapti Padam Punam Ritas Vadanam Sarvatmas Napanam Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. Glory to the Shri Krishna Sankirtan, which cleanses the heart of all the dust accumulated for years and extinguishes the fire of conditional life, of repeated birth and death. This Sankirtan movement is the prime benediction for humanity at large, because it spreads the rays of the benediction moon. It is the life of all transcendental knowledge. It increases the ocean of transcendental bliss, and it enables us to fully taste the nectar for which we are always anxious. The second verse, Nam Nam Kari Bauda Nijar Sarva Shaktis Tatra Pita Niyamita Smarane Na Kalaha Etadrishi Tava Kripa Bhagavan Mamapi Dudaivam Idrisham Hyajani Nanu Ragaha. O my Lord, your holy name can render all benediction to living beings. And thus you have hundreds and millions of names, like Krishna and Govinda. In these transcendental names, you have invested all your transcendental energies. There are not even hard and fast rules for chanting these names. O my Lord, out of kindness, you enable us to easily approach you by your holy names. But I am so unfortunate that I have no attraction for them. The next verse, Trinadapi Sunichena Tarorapi Sahishnana Amanina Manadena Kirtanya Sadahari. One should chant the holy name of the Lord in a humble state of mind, thinking oneself lower than the straw in the street. One should be more tolerant than a tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige, and should be ready to offer all respects to others. In such a state of mind, one can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly. So this is the mood, how to chant. The fourth verse, Na Dhanam Na Janam Na Sundarim Kavitam Va Jagadisha Kamaye Mama Janmani Janmani Ishvare Bhavata Bhakti Haituki Tohi. O Almighty Lord, I have no desire to accumulate wealth, nor do I desire beautiful women, nor do I want any number of followers. I only want your causeless devotional service, birth after birth. The fifth verse. Ai nanda tanuja kinkaram patita mam vishame bhavam budao tripaya tava pada pankat stita duli satrisham vinchintaya. O son of Maharaj Nanda Krishna, I am your eternal servitor. Yet somehow or other I have fallen into the ocean of birth and death. Please pick me up from this ocean of death and place me as one of the atoms at your lotus feet. Verse 6. Nayanam galadashru daraya vadanam gadgada rudaya gira pulaka nichitam papukada tava namadrane bhavishyati. O my Lord, when will my eyes be decorated with tears of love, flowing constantly when I chant your holy names? When will my voice choke up? And when will the hairs of my body stand on end at the recitation of your holy name? Yugayitam nimashena chakshusha pravishyayitam shunyayitam jagat sarvam Govinda viharane. O Govinda, feeling your separation, I am considering a moment to be like 12 years or more. Tears are flowing from my eyes like torrents of rain, and I am feeling all vacant in the world in your absence. Verse 8. Ashlisha va padam ratam pinastumam adashana mama atam karotu va yata tata va vidatu lampato mat pranarnatastu sa eva na paraha. I know no one but Krishna as my Lord, and he shall remain so even if he handles me roughly by his embrace and makes me broken-hearted by not being present before me. He is completely free to do anything and everything, for he is always my worshipful Lord unconditionally. This is the translation by Srila Prabhupada, our Savior. So now we will discuss this verse a little more. Now, to understand these verses, we have to understand three important concepts of Nam. Say Nam, Nam, Akari, Bahuda, Nija, Sarva, Shaktis. Oh my Lord, your holy name alone can render benediction to living beings. And thus you have hundreds and millions of names, like Krishna and Govinda. In these transcendental names, you have invested all your transcendental energies. There are not even hard and fast rules for chanting these names. Oh my Lord, Out of kindness, you enable us to easily approach you by your holy names. But I am so unfortunate that I have no attraction for them. So now we'll continue from the first verse where the Lord states, chanting the name of the Lord cleanses the heart and gives us all perfection. And the second verse states that the Lord has many variety of names, Nam, Akari, Bahuda. Actually, the Lord's names are based on his activities. For example, Devaki Nandana, the son of Devaki. Gopi Jana Vallabha, the lover of the gopis. Yashoda Nandana, the son of Mother Yashoda. When we wish to describe a particular activity, we call the Lord by a particular name. This enhances the mood of the name. When Arjuna wanted to get rid of the demons in his mind, he addressed the Lord as Madhusudan, O killer of the demon Madhu. But we must understand, though the Lord has hundreds and thousands of names, Mahaprabhu has chosen the name of Sri Krishna. The name of Krishna is the original seed. And Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that he is the seed-giving father. And the Lord taught us by his own example to chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Of all the names of the Lord, Krishna is said to be the sweetest. In fact, the explanation given in the scriptures, when asked which is the topmost name of the Lord, it was said that one name of Ram is equivalent to 1,000 names of Vishnu, and 3 names of Ram is equivalent to 1 name of Sri Krishna. So we can see the power of chanting just 1 name of Krishna is equivalent to 3,000 names of Lord Vishnu. In the Adi Purana, the Lord tells Arjuna, O Arjuna, I declare this truth unto you. Those that approach me by chanting my name purchase me. I am completely controlled by them. So the verse that states the names of the Lord is invested with all different energies of the Lord. What does that mean? It means that every energy that's conceivable is included in the name. So those who are chanting must understand this is not an exaggeration. In fact, it is one of the offense to think that this is an exaggeration. And for us to understand this verse, Nam Akari, the Nam is a shabd, is a sound vibration. To understand these verses, we have to understand 3 important concepts. Nam Tattva, that is the truth of the name. Nam Avabhas is chanting the name. without consciously making an offense. And Shuddhana is chanting the pure name. The Lord has primary names and secondary names. The names of Krishna, Govinda, Ram, Narayan, Vishnu are his primary names. Brahma, Paramatma are his secondary names. Included in the holy names is the form of the Lord, his qualities and his pastimes. The Nam here refers to the primary names. The Lord here has not made any restrictions on chanting his names in regard to time and place. This is the example of the Lord's mercy on us. So now we could go on understanding this verse, and Prabhupada has nicely translated everything for us, so it's not very difficult for us to understand the meaning. Now the next verse, Trinad api sunichena taroropi sahishnuna amanena manadena kitanya sadahari. This is how we should chant the holy name of the Lord. This is the mood. One should be more humble than a blade of grass. In fact, one of our earliest students, Tunya Vidya Devi Dasi, told me or asked me this question regarding chanting and being more humble than a blade of grass and offering respects to everyone. The question was asked, can we offer respects to everyone, even if people are demonic? No, actually, the answer is that we offer respects according to one's position. So a person who's a Mahabhagavat, the respect will be different. One who's aspiring, the respect will be different. So we offer our respects according to one's level of devotion. So this is very important to understand. And the mood is that when you say humbler than a blade of grass, it basically means like grass, basically we trample on it and it does not protest. But in reality, it cannot protest because that is the constitution position. But we as human beings, we have intelligence and we can protest. So therefore it is said that we should be more humble than the blade of grass. Because the grass can't protest, but we can. So by us taking this humble position, we become more humble than the blade of grass. So this is important, how we should chant. Humility, offering respects, and being more tolerant than a tree. Like we know the tree is out there withstanding storms and so many bad conditions. but he tolerates it. So we should also tolerate all the so-called problems that we have. And this is what Gauranga Mahaprabhu taught us. So we should be more tolerant than a tree and ready to offer respects. So the three important things is humility, tolerance, and offering respects. So Gauranga Mahaprabhu explained, if we maintain this mood, then we will be able to constantly chant the name of Krishna. Kirtana Sada Hari. So we could understand this very important verse, the mood of how to chant. Many times people tell me that they don't have taste for chanting the holy name. And in the second verse, actually, it explained why we are unfortunate. Actually, we are unfortunate why we don't have a taste is due to aparad. This is what I explained earlier. We have to understand these important concepts of Nam Tattva, the truth of the holy name. We have to understand what is Nam Aparad and what's Nam Ambas. So these are important concepts. So Nam Tattva is basically understanding the name, the power of the name, etc. And Nam Ambas is basically chanting the name of the Lord, though it can be offensive, but you are not doing it intentionally. That is Nam Ambas. It's unintentional offense. And Nam Aparad is the most deadliest of all offenses. Nam Aparad is making an offense consciously. This is the most deadliest sin. So all of us, when we chant, obviously in the beginning stages, we won't be chanting the pure name of Krishna, Shuddhanam. But under the training of the pure devotee, the realized devotee, the Mahabhagavad, the Uttama Adhikari, when we chant under his instruction and we follow him, then the pure name will start to appear. Because when you chant under the guidance of the pure devotee, the self-realized soul, then he represents you because he is the representative of the Lord. So he basically takes your chanting, your offensive chanting, and he offers it to the Lord on your behalf. So this chanting, even though you may be making offenses, but it becomes inoffensive when the pure devotee takes it and he offers it to the Lord. And then the Lord is obliged to accept. So this is how your chanting, though it may be full of offenses, but it will become offenseless when we chant under the direction of a Mahabhagavad, a Uttama Adhikari, a pure devotee. Because a pure devotee is a representative of Krishna. And as a representative, Krishna will accept whatever. So, yes, we chant with offense. We should understand that because this is being offered by the person who's offering me guidance, that this will become inoffensive chanting. So Harinam is inoffensive chanting. So we want to chant the pure name, we should definitely find a bona fide guru who is a true representative of Krishna and surrender unto such a guru. And then the pure name will appear on our tongue. It is said actually the name will dance on one's tongue. But the Lord only dance on one's tongue whose bhakti he accepts. So it's important for us to understand. And some important points coming up to this, talking about bhakti, and we talk about bhakti yoga. In fact, only a perfected soul who has realized himself can practice bhakti yoga. He has to be fully perfect. Otherwise, it's not bhakti yoga. The Lord will only accept service from his pure devotee. So to become a pure devotee, you have to be perfected. So how do we become perfected? Is by constantly chanting the name of Krishna, constantly, without fail. Sometimes the question is asked, how to get rid of offenses, how to get rid of aparadh. It's explained the only way to get rid of aparadh is by chanting, chanting, and chanting. There is no other way. So as we chant and chant and chant, then we keep our mind engaged like this. And so there is no chance of us getting involved in frivolous activities like gossiping, etc. So chanting prevents us from doing unnecessary things. This is very, very important. So we'll stop here. If you got any questions, I will answer. So I'd like to thank these devotees, Krishna Das, Subhidya, Ravindranath, Durga, Manish, etc., for attending this discussion. And if any of you have any questions, I'm ready to answer to the best of my ability. Okay, I can't see any questions, but I answered the one question that Tunga Vidya Mataji asked me regarding the respects. Yes. So I'd like to clarify again. We offer respects to one according to one's position. Right. So this is important. Now, I'd like to discuss something a little different from these verses, is about our organization, International Society for Krishna Consciousness. One must understand that Srila Prabhupada, he gave this name Krishna Consciousness, meaning that one who is Krishna conscious. And lots of us, we identify an institution to be referred by Srila Prabhupada. Like sometimes we say, Srila Prabhupada said, ISKCON is his body. That is true. ISKCON is Srila Prabhupada's body. But what ISKCON is it? Actually, he meant the Krishna conscious. That's his body. Yes. Not the institute. Institute cannot be a consciousness. So we've got to understand this important point. In fact, from my own experience, I found most people who are living outside the institute are more ISKCON than those are living in the institute. In fact, recently we had some articles about the gurus and how when Srila Prabhupada, when he departed this material world, there were 11 fraudulent GBC members who claimed that they were appointed by Srila Prabhupada to be Guru. I remember there was so much protest amongst the senior members because they knew that these people were not qualified. They knew them personally, and they knew that these were not self-realized gurus. But these GBC members had the audacity to make out a circular and ask the temple presidents to put it in all the notice boards in ISKCON to state that they have the 26 qualities of a pure devotee. So they were forcing themselves because there was so much rejection. So they were saying that we are pure devotees, we have the 26 qualities, and you have to accept us. If you don't, you have to leave. You are the most envious. And many of Srila Prabhupada's disciples were kicked out of the society. And most of your new members don't know the history that Srila Prabhupada never elected them. And after they started to fall down from the level of Krishna consciousness, then the GBC realized that these were not pure devotees. They were not chosen by Srila Prabhupada. They were actually fraudulent. And up to today, you can see some of them, at least one of them, is being severely punished for this activity. In fact, Krishna is even defacing that person. Why? Sometimes people say because of the sins of the disciples. But is it truly the sins of the disciple, or is the aparad committed to the Guru? All of us, we are so indebted to Srila Prabhupada for what he has given us and how he has tried. He himself said, I have given gallons and gallons of blood to preach this Krishna conscious movement. But he said, my disciples, they don't listen. They don't listen. He said they can't give up eating. They can't give up sleeping. He said what to do. They are so sinful. But Srila Prabhupada still accepted. So we have to understand this important concept. In fact, all of us, if we stand together and we take action and find out the truth, whether these gurus, whether they were appointed by Srila Prabhupada, and question, because we are submitting facts, and question about the circular claiming that they are pure devotees. These were the original 11 GBCs. And then now, after that, in fact, they started this guru election system, which is also completely not bona fide. It's against the principles. In fact, Srila Prabhupada himself was totally against guru election. But to continue the mission, so-called mission of getting friends, they have started to give more and more people a chance to become so-called gurus. And it ended up to be a disaster. So today, all of us should stand together and try to promote the legacy of what Srila Prabhupada taught us. We should try to understand what is guru and who is a fraud. And today, we can see that though sometimes we say ISKCON is growing, but growing in what way? Growing in what way? In numbers. The numbers make a society Krishna conscious? No, it's a purity. And Srila Prabhupada said, purity is the force. So please try and understand this. I'm trying my best to guide you from the authentic scriptures. I'm not trying to make anything. I'm always giving reference to the scriptures. And this is how we should understand. We cannot base our understanding on our own sentiment. We have to understand that we are conditioned living entities. And as a conditioned living entities, we make mistakes. And we are also prone to cheating. So if we consider that, yes, I accepted the guru, I made a mistake. No big deal, because you're a conditioned soul. And a conditioned soul makes mistakes. In fact, a question was asked, what happens if we accepted a guru that's not bona fide or that's not authentic? It's not a Mahabhagavad. And the Jaiva Dharma clearly explains that if you accepted a guru without proper understanding, then you can, this is one of the times you can reject that guru. So I hope this clarifies the point that is not an aparad if you didn't understand. And Bhagavad Gita is very, very clear. In the fourth chapter, 34th verse, it's explained by Lord Krishna himself that a guru can only be a self-realized soul. Why? Because that self-realized soul has seen the truth. That means he has seen himself, his person, his swarup, and he has seen the Lord. And Srila Prabhupada, you can read yourself in the purport to this verse. He says the secret of success is serving such a person, such a self-realized person. So we have to understand what is the secret. So if we say we don't have taste for chanting the holy name, then you can understand. In most cases, we don't have a proper guru. That is why we don't have the taste. In fact, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta was asked this question. In fact, they asked him, after receiving Diksha mantras, actually a mantra means the person, it's life. A mantra is life. So the question was asked to Srila Bhaktisiddhanta, how come after receiving such live mantras, our minds are still agitated and we're still unable to control our lust? Can you please explain this? And Srila Bhaktisiddhanta explained that you have not been given any mantras. In fact, it is said that the mantra is supposed to be blown into the right ears of the disciple. He said, but only air was blown into your ears, no mantra. So this is important to understand, that even if you receive the Diksha mantras and you're still not getting a taste, then you have not received the mantra, but only air was blown into your ears. This is very important. So I'd like to finish off here. If there's any questions, again, I can answer. Just checking if there's any questions. Oh, Okay, Sarat Prabhu asked the question, how can we understand the level of others' advancement? Okay, firstly, we cannot judge. As a conditioned soul, how are we able to understand who's a Mahabhagavat, who's a pure devotee, and who is not? So it is very, very difficult for us to understand the level of others as long as we are conditioned. So, but if we want to know the qualifications of who is a Mahabhagavat, then this is all explained in the scriptures. Everything is explained. But trying to understand the level of other conditioned souls is not possible unless you are a realized soul. Another question. By Sarat as well. He said it is required to have a lot of Shastric knowledge and be judgmental to understand the level of others' advancement. Actually, Shastric knowledge is theoretical. And theoretical knowledge means understanding with one's intellect. And if one's intellect is imperfect, so that understanding will not necessarily be the truth. One may say it is like this, one may say it's not like this. But if two conditioned souls are arguing, so we will not be able to establish what is the truth. Ravindranath Prabhu asks, what is your view on Ritvik initiation as Prabhupada appointed 11 disciples, Ritvik, for initiation after his disappearance? Thank you, Prabhu. It's a very, very, very good question about Ritvik. Okay, I'll explain that. And I think it's very, very important for us to understand this now. And this is very important, and I'm going to actually explain to you what Srila Bhaktisiddhanta said about this. But before I go to discuss what Srila Bhaktisiddhanta said, I would like to explain to you what is Ritvik. Ritvik is basically somebody acting on behalf of another. And so when Srila Prabhupada was quite sick or was unwell, and he was not able to effectively give people initiation by giving them the names, etc., he appointed 11 of his GBC members to initiate on his behalf. That means when the initiation was done, it was not their disciples, but they initiated or they gave the name, etc., but it was done on Srila Prabhupada's behalf. So this is Ritvik. So Ritvik initiation means while the Guru is alive, you can act as a Ritvik. But if the Guru is not there, present in the physical body, then one cannot act as a Ritvik. So now I'm going to read what Srila Bhaktisiddhanta said about Ritvik. This is in the Nectar of Instruction of Immortality. The question was asked, if Jesus Christ was a Jagat Guru and his instructions capable of bringing us deliverance, why do we need a spiritual master? So basically, same question is asking, if Srila Prabhupada is the Jagat Guru, then what is the necessity of us accepting somebody else as spiritual master. And Srila Bhaktisiddhanta replied, we accept both the universal spiritual master and the initiating spiritual master. By accepting only the Jagat Guru, like say we say Srila Prabhupada, we may face many anathas. If at present we want to follow Christ's orders or Srila Prabhupada's orders by accepting him as Jagat Guru, and we think that we do not require an initiating spiritual master, we will certainly face the doubt about how well we can follow Christ's orders or Srila Prabhupada's orders. So therefore you need a living guru, is explained. The Supreme Lord or Universal Jagat Guru delivers his instructions about the absolute truth only through the disciplic succession. So this is very important, explaining this concept that you need a living guru. You cannot just accept Srila Prabhupada as Jagat Guru, who is Jagat Guru, but you also need a living guru. Because you may not understand some of the things that Srila Prabhupada said. So you need a living guru to clarify. Right? So rhythmic initiation or rhythmic process is not acceptable, and this is refuted by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta himself, that rhythmic initiation is not bona fide. You need a living guru. So he goes on to explain, if the instructions of Jesus Christ gave 2,000 years ago do not come in through disciplic succession, or if we have to sort them out from the books, this is what it is, we have to sort them out from the books, then perhaps we may create a blunder and accept a perversion of the truth taught in the name of Christianity. Like just like this, there is so much confusion, and we may misunderstand. This is a perversion of the truth. So we may even come to accept something opposite from what he taught. So this is what's happening. A lot of us are confused, and we don't understand exactly what Srila Prabhupada meant or said, thinking it to be the actual philosophy. The initiating spiritual master, this is Srila Bhaktisiddhanta speaking, is also Jagat Guru, because he is a manifestation of the original Jagat Guru. Out of his causeless mercy, he delivers the message of the original Jagat Guru through the disciplic succession. He does not cheat or flatter the disciple, nor does he earn for any material gain. He is simply a messenger of the absolute truth. So from Srila Bhaktisiddhanta's explanation, we can see that the rhythmic process is not a bona fide process. We need to have a living guru. Otherwise, there'll be lots of confusion. And if you don't have a living guru, and say, assuming you accepted Srila Prabhupada's disciples as part of the Guru Parampara, but if they are conditioned souls and they have so many disagreements among themselves, how will you know who is telling the truth or who is correct? With you being conditioned yourself. So one needs guru. Guru means a realized perfect. Another question was asked also about guru, is sometimes explanation is given that to follow the Guru Parampara, some of Srila Prabhupada's disciples had to accept. Otherwise, the Guru Parampara wouldn't exist. This is not true, actually. The tattva, the truth is that a Guru Parampara does not belong to an institution. The Parampara, like when Lord Krishna appointed Arjun as the successor to a new Parampara, it was not an institution. So there's no ways to say that the Parampara wouldn't have gone on because of an institute. So I hope this clarifies the point. Checking if there's any other questions. Okay, Radhakrishnan Prabhuji, he asked, I heard that only a Madhyama devotee can preach and then an Uttama won't preach. It means that Uttama won't give any instructions. Actually, the Jaiva Dharma explains that only an Uttama Adhikari can preach, not a Madhyama. Though a Madhyama is constantly chanting, but because he has still not perfected himself, that's why he's still on the middle level. He cannot. But an Uttama Adhikari, because he's on the highest level, he can impart faith or transmit faith into the disciple or into the sadhak and be able to make them change their mood and understand. Whereas a Kanishta or a Madhyama, if he preaches, because he is not realized, then this is regarded as one of the offenses. To preach the glories of the holy name is one of the 10 offenses. So therefore, only an Uttama Adhikari can preach. And sometimes people say that Srila Prabhupada asked us to preach. No, he didn't ask us to preach. He asked us to distribute his books. He said, what a few minutes of your preaching can do. He wanted us to distribute his books. Because he himself used to read his own books, because he said that these were the words of Krishna. He was just a messenger. So this is the message we wanted to pass. So yes, only a Uttama Adhikari can preach. Another question by Ananda Ananda. How do you feel about the argument prevalent today that the Guru is a postman? He doesn't need to be pure just to deliver the message unchanged. Yes, Srila Prabhupada did explain that yes, we are postmen, and I accept that. But as long as we deliver the message unchanged, if we change, then we are not bona fide postmen. Because a postman only delivers the letter. He doesn't interfere. So like recently we have seen how within our institute, people have changed Srila Prabhupada's words because they think they know more. They can speak better English than him. They change the Guru's words. This is not a postman. A postman doesn't do that. He doesn't take the letter and rewrite the letter and say, now this is the letter. No, that is completely wrong. So yes, postman is okay, but a postman who does not change. Thank you, Ananda. Okay, next question, Durga. She asked, please explain what are the duties of the student to his Guru. Actually, one should understand that the Guru is a representative of Krishna. And he should be given the same respect. One should not think the Guru to be a material person. The Guru is actually a tattva. It's a tattva. It's a truth. So we should serve the Guru in the same way that we will serve the Lord. because he is the messenger. He delivers the Lord's message. So when we serve the Guru, then the Guru actually delivers this service to the Supreme Lord, because the Lord won't accept your service as a conditioned soul. So the only way to serve the Lord is to serve the Lord through the Guru. There's no other way, because the Lord is not going to accept the service of a person who's not his pure devotee, the perfected soul. So it's very important that we understand that the only way is to serve the Guru. In fact, it is said that those who accept the Lord and don't accept the Guru or his pure devotees is called a materialistic devotee or a bhakta. Okay, I hope that answers that question. Okay. Deepak Sharma asked, how are Shastras manifested by himself in the heart of a devotee by chanting Harinam? Please clarify. Very nice question, Deepak Prabhu. Yes, because the name of the Lord is none different from the Lord. So when we chant the pure name under the guidance of a pure devotee, then this name becomes none different from the Lord. And because it becomes none different, then all realization, all perfection comes. So in this way, by chanting the name, which is none different from the Lord, the manifestation comes from within the heart of the devotee, and one realizes everything. So the main concept is to understand that the name and the Lord is none different. And included in the name is everything, his form, his leelas, his pastimes, everything is in the name. Okay, I hope that answers that question. Okay, another question by Anex Prabhu. If I chant 64 rounds, even with imperfections, is going to Vaikuntha guaranteed? Okay, it's an interesting question. It's explained that when we chant, we're supposed to chant with full faith and with devotion. If we just utter some syllables and some mantras, then there is no guarantee. The only guarantee that we'll go back is by us constantly chanting the name, or 64 rounds, or whatever it is, even if you chant one round. But if you Shuddhanam, it's a pure name, then your process has started. Then you are guaranteed on your way back to Godhead. But chanting 64 rounds mechanically, you are not guaranteed. But at least you are following Gauranga Mahaprabhu's instructions to chant 100,000 names daily. So at least you accepted that. So you're on the path of going back. But guaranteed to go back just by saying, I chant 64 rounds mechanically. No, there's no guarantee that you'll go back. Okay, we'll end up here. Thank you very much, Prabhus and Vaishnavis. Hare Krishna.